the whole concept behind this project was that Disney and Fox would be rebooting the Flash Gordon series or franchise, and that they would need a hero prop for the main actor to use that would have some functionality and some LEDs in it to use in close-up shots on screen. There have been talks beforehand with Taika Waititi in 2019 about rebooting this franchise and making him directing a film, but I haven't heard any news on it since. But it does sound quite interesting. When I looked back at the old comics from the 30s and 40s, I found that a lot of it was very like fantasy inspired, so it was a lot closer to what I would consider fantasy than science fiction, and a lot of it was very Star Wars like. And I found out George Lucas was originally going to direct a Flash Gordon movie, and then he couldn't get the rights for it, so a good few years later he made his space opera that we know as Star Wars. So I thought I'd base it kind of on a similar theme they do in Star Wars, where they take kind of older weapons and make them more science fiction. So this is the final design I came up with, which is based on a Thompson, which is kind of one of those iconic guns from the 30s and 40s and 50s, you know, the World War II or the mobster Chicago typewriter. And I'm happy with how this design came out. And this is the space I had to work with while I was making it. This was for most of the project up until April 14th. I just had this desk up in Dublin because I was working in Tesco and Bloomfields at the time. So this is where most of the project was made. And I had a small kind of old shed at the garden that I cleared out that I could just do molding and casting and spray painting safely and in a well ventilated area. But then April 14th I quit my job and moved back home where I have access to a shed, and progress went a lot quicker after I had access to this, of course. The shed is my dad's shed, but a lot of the tools you see here I've been building up over the years from working. So I got the drill press and the belt sander and the bandsaw, just building them up throughout working in college over the summer. And you can see I had an area set up for where are we going? An area set up for molding and casting here, which was really, really handy. Yeah, and this is some progress shots of the project. So here we have at the top left, the beginning with mostly the raw materials, and going forward. The painting and finishing on this was a lot easier because a lot of the materials I was using were just, real wood, real aluminium, real metal. So when it came to actually finishing it, there wasn't a whole lot to do except just polishing and some painting. And then of course the all-clad stuff on the chrome and the brass pieces on the barrel. And this is just a layout. The interior piece I left purposely undesigned so I could just do some like greebly details when I got to it. I'm really happy with how it turned out in the end. But it all screws together mechanically, and you can take it apart, and you can reprogram the Arduino to change the color of the lights and everything if you wanted to, or change the animation of the lights if you needed to. And here we have the final image of it. I'm quite happy with how it came out. There's a few things I changed, of course, but considering I haven't done something like this before, I'm really proud of it. Here's a close-up of the front section. The weathering on the chrome, I did that kind of on purpose. It might be a bit too heavy, but I'm really happy with how the black aluminium came out, and the brass and the battery. I think it looks really nice, but again, there's a few things I change.